Advice of today. Advice of today is an online audio show that gives advice based on events and circumstances that happen to us in our everyday lives. If you are here for the first time, subscribe and don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you can get notifications, because we will be posting every day. Now on advice of today. There was a man called John. John was a man who was in his mid-30s. So one time, John was accused of a crime. John said he was innocent of this crime. But when John was taken to court, he was proven guilty of this crime. The thing that worried John the most was that his family depended on him. John was a family man of 3 children, and all of them depended on him. So John was taken to prison, and he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. John was really worried about his family who would remain outside, because his family depended on him, and the sentence of 3 years was too long. John was thinking, what am I going to do now? I've been thrown in jail for a crime that I didn't commit, and my family has remained without any support. What am I going to do? John asked himself. John was in prison, and 3 months went by. He was thinking, how am I going to get out of prison? So John made friends with one of the prison guards, and he asked the prison guard if the prison guard could help him get out of jail. The prison guard looked at John and told him, I'm just a prison guard. I don't know how I would help you get out of jail. But if you really need to get out of jail, let me go and think of something. Maybe I can help you. After 2 weeks, the prison guard came back to John and told him that I thought of a lot of ways in which I can help you get out of prison, but the only way I have is one, and the only way that I have is the only way that I can help you get out of prison. So the prison guard told John about the plan which he had. The prison guard told John that in prison, when one of the prisoners dies, there is a bell that rings. When the bell rings, one of the prisoners is taken to a room, and we put them in a casket. I'm the one who attends to that casket. I close the casket, I seal the casket, and then after a day, me and the other prison guards and a few prisoners take the casket to go bury it. So, what we're going to do is, when the bell rings, you're going to go into that room before I go in, and then put yourself in the box as well, because the box is big enough for 2 people. So when you go in the box, I will come and close the box. And then me and the other prison guards will come in and take the box to the grave. We will take the box to the grave, and then we will bury you. When we bury you, you will wait in the box for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I will come and then remove you from the box, and then we can put the box back in the grave and you will be free. And then the prison guard asked John and looked at him in the eyes, "Are you okay with that plan?" John looked at the prison guard in the eyes and took a deep breath and thought about the plan for a while. Now, after John thought about the plan for 2 minutes, he told the prison guard that he would go ahead with the plan because it was his only way of getting out of prison and getting back to his family. So the prison guard left. A few days later, the bell rang. It took John 30 seconds to remember what the prison guard told him about what the ringing of the bell meant. When John remembered, he got up as fast as he could and he ran into the room where the casket was. And he opened the lid of the casket, because the casket was big enough to hold 2 people. John entered in the casket and he closed the lid. He heard people approaching the casket, and the casket was sealed and it was lifted up and taken to the graveyard. John was beginning to feel happy and excited that he is finally going to get out of prison. The casket was buried and the prison guards left. 10 minutes later, John was patiently waiting in the casket, and he was confident that the prison guard was going to come and get him out. 20 minutes later, John was now feeling happy that the prison guard is coming any second from now, and I will be out of this place. Surprisingly, 30 minutes had passed, and there was no sign of the prison guard. Now John was starting to get worried, as oxygen and the heat in the casket was becoming unbearable. Oxygen was finishing and the heat was increasing. An hour later, the heat was too much for John and he was running out of oxygen. John became really worried and was wondering what happened to the prison guard. So John decided to check the person who died. Maybe it was a friend who he knew in prison. But it was so dark in the casket, it was hard to see the person who died. So he decided to look really closely. He opened his eyes and tried as hard as he could to look at the person who died. When he managed to see the person, to his surprise, it was actually the prison guard who died. John was really disappointed and became really scared because he was about to die a really horrible death. Now, the advice of today is, do not put 100% of your trust in somebody else. You never know what may happen. You will be greatly disappointed. John, who would have spent 3 years in prison and would have been free after that, was now going to die a horrible death worse than the 3 years he was going to spend in prison. So, be careful who you put your trust in, and be careful not to put 100% of your trust in a person. That was the advice of today. So, that was advice of today. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications, because we will be posting stories and advice every day on this channel. And on this same very channel, there will be a movie that will be shown called Twisted Life. It will be coming soon. Have a blessed day.